We come to this place to relax, loosen our corset, and have some quiet time.
Girl, be so for real. This is where we get into it and really spill all the tea.
Ooh, that part. By the way, anyone got a red lipstick? I saw a cute guy out there.
Welcome to
The Powder Room.
Welcome back, episode 4. And
Hey.
you may be wondering, oh my god, we told you all that we were only going to get in drag for special occasions. And guess what? Never trust a thing a drag queen says because...
Oh, I thought you were going to say this was going to be a special occasion.
I was trying to figure out
ooh.
what special occasion this was.
It's the 4th episode. Crazy. No, we wanted to get in drag a little bit, so scratch what we said in the first episode. Some episodes will be getting in drag. You'll still be getting some out of drag ones because, you know, the girls are busy, the girls are places, the girls have jobs. So period. But we're here, we're in drag, we're looking stunning, we're looking gorgeous. How are we all doing? Aurora, what's up?
Ooh, I'm good. I'm kind of back on the Pride bandwagon now of like doing Pride gigs because apparently August and September is still Pride season and I forget about that.
It never ends. The gays never stop.
The gays never
literally
stop.
said, the weather's warm, we're priding.
Oh yeah. So I've kind of just been busy doing my little Pride gigs, trying to get those done. I feel like once August is over, I can kind of set the Pride gigs down and be like, okay, moving on back to different gigs.
You said heterosexuality is back, baby.
Yeah.
It's back, baby. Straight Pride. Let's
Heterosexual
go.
fall. Period.
Oh my god. No
Perla,
pumpkin
how are
spice
you?
lattes, just straight fall. Oh my god.
Wait, fall really is straight culture, deadass.
Yeah,
Is it?
pumpkin spice latte season.
Pumpkin
Yeah,
spice
but the
latte
gays
season,
love that
no
shit
pride.
too.
Okay, but like, tea.
No, but fall also has Halloween, and the gays love Halloween.
You know what?
You're
Never
so
mind.
right there. You're
Never
so right
mind.
there.
And then I want to say that like the holiday season is like for the straights, but then like the gays love the holidays more than the straights anyways. So like, do they even have any time?
Do straight people ever exist?
They get football season.
Oh my god. But then it's like they do get Super Bowl, but then they also get like the halftime show is like all anyone cares about.
Yeah, but the halftime show is always for the gays anyways.
That's what she means, though.
It's
Yeah,
for the
I'm
girls,
like-
the gays, and the days.
I'm like, literally nothing is for the straights anymore. Wow.
You know what is? I was gonna say
Having-
Marvel
having
movies,
children.
but
Oh.
queer people like Marvel
Wait, I
movies.
love Marvel movies. Don't.
Wait, no, also, Marvel movies are getting more and more queer as well.
I know, but like early superhero movies were very for the straights.
Iron Man 1 to 3.
Yeah, the new
You know
Deadpool
what?
versus
Yes.
the new Deadpool and Wolverine, very gay.
I haven't seen it.
So funny. Oh my god, so funny.
Yeah.
The last like the Marvel movies that I've seen are the Spider-Man ones. I've only seen those.
Oh, the Tom
Wow,
Holland ones.
Perla not watching movies? Huh.
I know this is the one
We found
the
her weakness.
one series of films that you can catch me on.
It's
I'm
Perla's
a
film
avid
blind
movie
spot.
lover. I love Alien vs. Predator.
Hey, it's a good series. Don't clock it.
I
It's a
think
good
I think
series.
we need to
favorite.
watch Alien versus Predator. Alien versus Predator is a great movie.
Well, apparently there's another one out. Alien Romulus.
Requiem. No,
Requiem.
Romulus. Yeah, Requiem is Requiem is this. No, Requiem is the sequel to Alien versus Predator.
Well, look at me knowing what happened.
Educated, cultured.
No, Romulus is like completely aside from AVP.
Right, of course.
But I
Is
need
it like
to see it. It's
A prequel or like a sequel?
I'm actually not too sure. I've like avoided everything to do with the actual movie, so I don't spoil anything. I'm really trying to like not spoil horror movies for myself lately, which is
Would
You did that
Alien
with
vs.
Long Legs as
Predator-
well.
yeah. Longlegs, I like did not look up anything.
Is
going
Alien
into
vs.
it.
Predator considered a horror movie?
It's like an action horror.
Oh,
I actually think you would like it.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think she would.
It's like fun action.
My taste in movies is quite interesting.
It's either you've heard of it, or you like it or you don't care.
Well, yes, but also sometimes I like really want to watch a horror movie, like Long Legs. Like when you were telling me about Long Legs, I was so fascinated by it, but I physically like cannot watch the movie. I'll be terrified. So
I actually don't
watched,
think you'd be terrified.
I literally just spoiled the whole movie on like a YouTube video because YouTube videos can't show gore.
But it's like
there's
those
no
explained
gore.
videos.
Yes, it's like movie explained.
That was me. Like Interstellar, I went on YouTube and did like a whole like explained about all the different aspects of it. I love those types of videos.
For Interstellar.
Yeah.
I also have no idea what that is.
Out of all movies, Interstellar.
You know what?
It's because it's psychological. It like you like learn about like on the different planet. Each clock click was like an hour passing by on Earth and all that.
What? I need
Matthew
to watch this explain video.
No, you do not need to watch Interstellar. So many people are gonna hate the fact that I hate Interstellar, but I just hate Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Well, speaking of Matthew McConaughey, Perla, how are you doing?
I'm good. I am planning on when I'm gonna go see Alien Romulus, which hopefully is soon. And I did go see Cuckoo, which is the Hunter Schafer horror movie that just came out.
I had heard because I was going to dinner with Gigi that night, and she was saying how you were like, you guys should just come to the movies. And we were like,
how was it?
No.
It's actually a really good movie. It's one of those horror movies that's like kind of also not a horror movie, but like you're having a lot of fun.
Like and a thriller?
Kinda, yeah. Like it's definitely within the horror world, but it gets so ridiculous that you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but then it keeps going and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm seated. I'm here for it.
We should rebrand to like a movie analysis podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a movie episode.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We should do a movie episode.
Sure.
We should review. Wait, we should do it in December and rate all the big blockbuster movies that came out this year, so we can talk about Wicked.
Well, yes, of course.
Sure. You know what?
And Van, how are you doing?
We could do a whole episode dedicated to Wicked. Why not? For Perla, why not?
Yes, we will do a Wicked dedicated. Stay tuned, all.
Can we do that on my for my 30th?
That'll be your present.
Just for you.
Yes.
That's for your birthday.
Just for you, baby.
And speaking of Wicked and Green, Van, how are you doing?
Oh, wait. Yes, I'll answer that, but I've literally never seen Perla get so emotional. That was so wild.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mostly because her face can't move.
Wow, that was crazy. And I can sometimes I can barely see when I wear contacts and drag, which is kind of fun. But I am good. I am also on the Pride circuit with you. We were just in Vancouver. And then I'm in town for a bit. I go to Ottawa, and then I come back, and I go immediately to Quebec City for Pride. So I'm really excited for all of that.
And you're going to watch AVP on the train.
I've been doing a lot. Watch AVP on the train. I do have 5 hours, so I could watch both, probably.
Don't watch Requiem, but watch AVP. The second one is more gory.
Okay. Period.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't want gore. I don't like gore.
He doesn't want the gore.
Yeah, the second one has the alien impregnates pregnant women with the alien, and then they have multiple babies because it can
not too really, much. This is giving fucking what's that?
Wait,
what's that thing?
I didn't know that Alien vs Predator was Octomom.
Under his
it's more than
eye.
Octomom.
What's that
it's
thing?
Octo
Under
Infestation.
his watchful...
Big
What's
Brother?
that thing that Amanda Brugel was in it?
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. That one.
Thank you for name dropping Amanda Brugel. I was like, oh yes, that one.
Well, she needs someone to mention her name.
Wait,
not too much.
The main girl in it is a huge Scientologist.
Oh.
Yeah, that
is Scientology.
I don't know, but Perla and I, we went on an adventure to try to find the Scientology building when we were in LA. We found one of their branches, and then the car came out and we got scared.
It's this whole religion based off of literal comic books.
So not science.
No, not
No,
science.
the guy
Oh.
who even developed Scientology is like against Scientology.
Oh,
It's fucked.
well,
There's a whole
I
South
love
Park
that.
episode of it, and like the guys who created South Park that made this episode leaked legitimately the actual details of Scientology and what they believe. And like they literally have at the top of it, it's like actual footage or actual stories from Scientology. And people are like, this cannot be real. And it is.
we'll have to go watch it
Yikes.
then. But other than that, I'm good.
Period. I love that.
Speaking of Scientology, we are here to talk about that exact topic today. So crazy. No, I'm kidding.
That's so random.
That's so crazy. No,
We're going to be talking about organized religion.
organized religion. We saw all you guys, I think, really loved our last episode about origin stories and stories about our friendship and kind of how we got together.
Stories.
So we wanted to kind of keep that train of thought alive, but we're going to be talking more about drag. We're going to be talking about how we started drag. We're going to be talking about what it's like to work in drag. We're going to be talking a little bit about Toronto drag. And, you know, trigger warning, we're also maybe going to be talking about marathon drag.
Dun, dun, dun.
The girls are triggered.
Buzzword. Hot
Buzzword.
I've always wanted to try
in
it.
general. And maybe we'll give some, like, I don't know, advice, feedback, or just, like, our experiences, and you can learn from X, Y, and Z, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, shall we jump into it?
Yeah, who wants to
Let's
kick us
jump into it.
off?
Let's start with the oldest member of the group. Perla, how did you start drag? Back in 1991.
No, I wasn't alive in 91. I wasn't alive in 91.
She's like, our founding fathers.
Wait, but chronologically,
Not
though,
that.
for our listeners, Perla started drag first, and then Aurora, and then I started, I think, a year after Aurora.
The summer of.
Oh.
Did I start, like, right
I thought
after you?
Aurora was older than... Wait,
Yeah.
what?
2019.
Aurora started drag before me.
Yeah, like maybe
just
6 months
before me.
before.
Yeah.
Oh, I
There was something on my lip.
A hair in the mouth.
I never know how
Oh.
long Perla has been doing drag, though, for, because I feel like every time I ask you, the answer changes.
I have no fucking clue.
She doesn't know when she started drag.
Okay.
I think the first time I got in
Well,
drag
episode over.
was like... I think I was 22 or 23. So, like,
Which
anywhere
for
from, like...
our listeners was 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. I don't fucking remember. And then, oh my god, what is stuck on my lip? I'm so sorry, everyone.
is in
There we
your
go.
lip?
I got it. We got it.
Okay,
We got it.
yay!
Yay.
There we go. Bam. Yeah, I started drag a number of years ago when I was in my early 20s. And I legitimately wish I had known what the fuck was going on when I started drag. I was so fucking ugly.
What
was
got
amazing.
you into like, oh, let me like try drag out?
Yeah,
Honestly,
what was, like, the first
Sasha,
thing?
It was Sasha Velour. Sasha Velour got
Work.
me into drag, and I'm one of those shameful people with like a Drag Race tattoo.
Oh, Miss
'Cause I'm
Sasha
lame
Velour's
like that. I have
permanently
Sasha
on
Velour
her arm.
tattooed
That was
on my
so
body.
accessible. Wow.
Thank you. I didn't even realize that it was going to be that accessible in this outfit. But yeah, so I started drag literally because of Sasha Velour. Like, she was just such a huge inspiration to like what I loved in drag, and I thought she was so amazing on her season. So I'm technically like a product of Drag Race.
But it's so
and
funny that
so
Sasha is like your catalyst for you, because I don't think that your drag and her drag often exists in like the same
no, like
worlds or whatever.
Yeah, you know what I
so
mean? Like,
vastly different. But yeah,
Because-
no, there was something about her.
yeah, because I know that like I don't know if anyone on the podcast sees this, but I know Perla back in the day has been compared to Aquaria and Miss Cracker visually quite a lot. And you even
Quite
did
a lot,
Mhm.
quite a lot.
a TikTok that went like kind of viral about that.
I
You
did
were
do a
like-
TikTok that did go viral. It was like the when my mom and my dad had me. I'm Kevin or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like the biggest comparison. And I think when I got more into drag and was like actually trying to like make it a thing, I looked at like Aquaria and Cracker, and I was like, we actually have very similar just bone structure in general. So like,
Yeah.
I can probably take some of the things that y'all do to your face and implement it on my face. And years later, I feel like now that I've kind of come into my own character and my own
you don't really look
look,
like them anymore. No.
right? Like,
yeah, you kind of find what works for you.
I got my Cara Delevingne eyebrows going on. Like, they like they're
yeah. But if you go back on
so
Perla's Instagram, yeah, you can definitely see the influences of.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would say more specifically Aquaria, but yeah.
I would say so
sure.
too. I would definitely say so too. I think that like her and I have, I think, more of a similar face in drag, and then Cracker and I had a similar face out of drag.
Well, you and Cracker are from the same ancestral lands, so.
Are we? Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? She's like I think she's.
You're both Jewish,
and she's
Jewish
Russian.
Russian Jewish princesses,
and yeah, like Eastern Europe, all that shit. But yeah, no, literally.
So you had done drag in Calgary for a couple years before.
Yeah, I was doing drag. I started drag in Calgary, and
also, would you say that when you started drag, you like were always like this, or like was there like a different like aesthetic beforehand? Because you mentioned like Sasha Velour, and like I'm just curious how that like kind of.
Honestly, I never really like looked anything kind of like Sasha Velour.
It was just an inspiration, a loose inspiration.
Yeah, very loose inspiration. It was more like she was the catalyst to be like, do it. And then Fashion Nova was my best friend. And you kind of just like work with what you got. Love AliExpress. Love AliExpress. But yeah, no, I would say that like even I'd say personality wise, it's like night and day from who I was when I was younger, getting into drag. Also, I drank back then. And like
that happens to the best of us.
And I think that like I didn't realize how much I had to work on myself and how much alcohol was also causing me to be a fucking asshole. Like I will be the first to admit anytime that when I drank, I was a fucking asshole. And getting sober was like an amazing feat for me. And the chance to not only work on myself, but grow and really like change and adjust to no longer be the person that I was becoming or that I was. And so that was like a huge growth point for me and something that I'm really proud of looking at myself now versus my early 20s, my mid 20s. Like I'm fucking turning 30 in like days at this point.
And you're not counting or anything.
No.
I'm at this point. I'm like, fuck it. I'm 30. Who gives a shit?
Well, even like knowing,
you the last 2 years.
Well, even like knowing you only since you moved to Toronto, I feel like your drag has also evolved a lot since being in this city. Of like, you really have found your own aesthetic and like finding your own groove with working in Toronto versus working in Calgary.
I would say you're so good at like taking something that's like not like from like we joke, but like you're really good at taking something from like Nova, AliExpress, whatever, and like not making it look like you just bought a bodysuit off of AliExpress. Like, because you know, like there's always like those drag trends of like that one bodysuit everyone buys, and then it just becomes like the thing. But, like,
it's just a standard.
I think you would be surprised how much of your drag is just like things you buy off the internet, and then you just like customize them or style them or like add a rhinestone, add a thing, add a whatever, and then just make it your own.
Yeah, I love to play. I don't like to throw something on and be like, oh, this has nothing to it. Like, what's going on? Like, I like to give it a little bit more embellishment. And even if it's simple can still be made beautiful. And like, take your bodysuits, rhinestone them, add things to them. You can literally customize so much shit with just like a few little things you can order online or find at Dollarama.
Are you listening, drag queens? You can customize things.
Customize things.
It doesn't have to be off the rack.
And if it is off the rack, make sure it doesn't look off the rack. And like,
there we go.
If someone else has worn it, wear it differently. Don't repeat the same thing.
That Michelle Visage moment where she was like, with the Chi-Chi, she's like, you don't have to have money, girl.
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
Yeah,
that's the thing, though. You don't have to have money, but you at least need to know how to do a few things, or at least fail a few times until you like make it better. Which just
You
takes
gotta
a
have a
minute,
sense of
but
style, yeah.
exactly. But yeah, no, like I would say that like after moving to Toronto, I had been planning on it for so long, and I'd never made that leap. And when I finally did, it was just like this chance to not only kind of embrace my sobriety and really like push my sobriety and have that as such a huge catalyst of this growth that I was going through, but also
Yeah,
it
because
allowed me
no one here
to
really knew you before.
yeah, and definitely people like obviously you hear things and like I said, I'm still the first to admit I was a fucking asshole. Um but it really like allowed me to have this chance to like showcase myself in my new light and allow people to get to meet this new side of me, but also refine myself in so many ways. I started sewing a bit. I started, yeah, like you said, like customizing a lot of my stuff, got so much more into hair. And it just
Hair,
like,
yeah.
I really feel like Toronto was this chance to make this a career. And that was fucking sick. And now I'm sitting here in a blonde and black highlight low light wig and a houndstooth
On a
jacket with a
podcast.
matching bralette.
On your own podcast.
That part.
When you were in Calgary, did you work full time in drag as well?
Oh god, no. Oh
Okay.
god, no.
Do you feel like a lot of
I
people
s-
like was that like a thing that people could do, or do you feel like that was like one or two, but like really hard to like accomplish?
honestly, I think there was one drag queen in Calgary that worked full time.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember.
Calgary, don't
But-
quote us.
Don't quote me on that. But I would definitely say that like a lot of us had like day jobs or like other
Part-time
side
gigs.
hustles, things like
Yeah.
that. Like I still worked in fashion when I did drag, and when I started drag, I was still a horrible influencer, and so that was like there was like so many little things that you still had to do to pay
rent.
for your drag and try to like yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pete.
And here you are, 7
And here I
or
am.
8 years later.
An amount of time.
That no
An
one really
amount of
knows.
time. Somehow
Wait,
I'm
so
just-
what was your first? I feel like we like missed this part. What was your first like performance in drag? Like, do you remember? Like,
oh my
what-
god, yes, I remember. It was at there's this really amazing space in Calgary. It's still there. It's called Dickens, and it's
Oh, I've
this
heard of it.
yeah, really great queer space that always
I think
has such
Lilith Fair does like a bingo.
I believe so.
Don't quote me.
Don't
But
quote
I think
any
so.
of us. Yes. No, Dickens is amazing. It's such an amazing and open space, and there's so many amazing performers that go through there. Also, amazing fucking stage setup.
Sick.
But my first performance there was to Paper or Plastic by Brooke Candy.
I'm done.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like also people don't know because you often just do Ariana Grande all the time, but you have a very
Love her.
eclectic sense of music as well. And like your early
Yes.
performances were a lot of like Queen Herbie, Brooke Candy, like kind of
Yeah, I was
Macklemore,
never-
like
Like it's not
Macklemore was a
it's not your
Toronto
usual it's not your
Okay.
usual top 40.
I loved B-sides. Or I loved like just not top 40 because I never believed that I could dance or I could perform or I could hit a beat. And I was so insecure about that. And I think that also got reflected in my drinking. But I think I was just so insecure about that I was like, ooh, I'm going to do songs that like I don't have a dance break in or I don't have this in. And then when I got to Toronto, it was like, no, you have to do a dance break, you stupid bitch. And I went,
Oh, and
cool,
and we
got
will
this,
we
got
will
this.
we will touch on that a little later too.
What? Me doing dance breaks?
No,
no,
about
just like just
about doing
Toronto
drag in
marathon.
Toronto.
Yes.
We will
Perla,
touch on
this
that
is an
later.
intervention about your dance breaks.
God damn it. I try to avoid songs with them.
It's like Perla, you can't just flip your hair during a dance break. I mean, you can.
I mean, I don't know. She kind of proved you can. I don't know.
I mean,
Okay.
pop off.
So, Miss Aurora, what was like your journey into drag?
Oh my gosh. So I definitely am a product of Drag Race. The first ever introduction to drag was finding a compilation of Willem on YouTube, of
Oh, I
all
love
her
that.
unhinged moments on season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race. So I remember seeing that and just being like, oh my god, like what is this? Like this is really fun. Um, and technically, my first time in drag was in grade 12 when I was in my drama program in high school. My teacher looked at me and said, like, okay, we're all doing individual, like just individual studies. You all can kind of choose your own art form and then learn about it and do it. So he looked at me, he's like, you're doing drag, right? And I was like, I guess I am. So my first time in drag and first performance is technically in grade 12 when I just did my cumulative performance assignment at the end of the semester. But yeah, my first proper introduction into drag and the drag scene would be back in 2019. I was a theater student. I loved doing makeup. And
How old were you?
I was 18. I was 18 at the time, 3 months to go before I turned 19.
Yeah.
And there was an open stage, and I was like, well, like, I love doing theater, I love dancing, and I love playing with makeup. Like, why not kind of throw it all together and create a new persona? And that was the beginning of my little journey into doing drag in Toronto. My first number was Toxic by Britney Spears, followed by Holding Out for
Original.
a Hero. I know, original, followed by Holding Out for a Hero.
You haven't done Holding Out for a Hero in a long
In a hot
time.
Yeah, like
I know,
doing
you
that
do it all the
song.
time.
Yeah, that used to be like my go-to, and honestly, it's just a little too ambitious to do all the time now, because like
You're older.
I know that I'm gonna want to hit every single beat. Yeah, I'm older.
What? Oh my god. I literally just watched me in a show go like this. Boop, 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 boop.
Look, it's different because at least I'm already in the splits. But like, if I'm doing a split from start to finish every single time, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I
Well,
want
then
you
don't.
to drop from the ceiling into
Yeah.
a split.
That one day, I will do a little. Oh, what was her name?
Candy Amon Dupree.
Tandy Amon
Yes.
Dupree. I'm gonna fall down from the ceiling and go. Holding Out for a Hero. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
I live. That's crazy. Ultimately, I think the statute of limitations has ended, but Perla loves to tease Aurora on the date she started drag and her age.
I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, because
Yeah.
at the time it was also like, I'm gonna go to these bars as an 18-year-old in full drag. They're not gonna be able to fucking clock me, and
They're
they
not gonna
did.
ID you.
Baby, I was going to Cruise and Tango since I was 16. Who cares?
Exactly. Like, and at least like I wasn't going out of drag and just like getting.
I was
all-
going out of drag. I had my 18th birthday party at Cruise and Tangos.
I wasn't going out of drag getting like drunk and messy. Like I was like, I just want to do drag. Like I want to perform on stage. Like please let me on stage.
I never had a fake ID. I never
I
like
didn't
went
either.
into a club.
I didn't either. I just used every other Asian person's ID because they could cock me in makeup.
There was this karaoke bar.
I used my brother's ID.
Oh my god.
But he looks
But also,
nothing
like-
like me.
But also, like, everyone did that. If you had an older sibling,
Yeah. But also, okay, not to like, oh, I can't tell us in the pod, but there's a way to get into certain bars in the village without an ID. I'll just say that.
we'll talk off camera. We'll talk off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know this.
I'll just say that.
Why, Perla? You're 30.
No, but
Anyway.
like, what the fuck? No, but there was a karaoke bar in Calgary that didn't ID, and I went there once when I was 17, and then we tried to go again, and I got ID'd, and I was like, fuck.
First of all, the drinking age in
Yeah.
Calgary is 18, so not too much.
Yes.
It is different. It is different. But
Not
I
too
will say
much.
that probably the biggest growth for me since starting is my performance style. Like, makeup, sure, like, the aesthetic has changed, but, like, I used to really do throw every single trick in, like, as much as possible at every song, every whatever. And now at least I know, like, let the audience earn it a little more. Like
yeah, you're a
tease
little
it.
less like the.
Yeah, now I'm like, how do I actually do like real dancing
Well,
instead
she
of
was a
just
theater
like
kid, and now she's a jaded theater kid.
now I'm a jaded theater kid. I'm like, okay, the audience is gonna have to work
I
for
don't
these
know.
tricks.
Is she? I feel like if you like look at Aurora's like graduating class, which was like 2 years ago, she probably is like the most successful one out of all of them.
Not too much.
Like,
Oh my god.
well, she went to
If
school
you
for
were in
theater and
Aurora's
she was on a TV
graduating
show.
class.
Tea.
Oh, true.
Tea.
True. She was on Cops.
I did. Not this again. I did go into my fourth year of university like, hey, teachers, so I don't want to be an actor anymore, but I'm still going to be an artist. And they're like, okay, sure, great.
Live your life.
Love that. Live your life. But Van, how did you get into drag? Because you're also an arts major.
I am. Surprisingly, I am not a product of Drag Race.
She's a product of Empire's Ball.
I'm a product of a lot of different things. I watched Drag Race for the first time, and it was All Stars 1, and I immediately turned it off because I thought it was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Valid.
Also, All Stars 1 is a hard
All
one to
Stars 1,
start
episode
with.
1, starting the season, I said, what is this? And I was like, oh, bye. And
Well,
then,
most Drag Race fans also thought that.
Exactly. So then I
did
didn't watch Drag Race
watch
for a
All
long
Stars.
time until I think it was like season 9 or 10. I started watching live again, but I never had like a desire to do that. I wasn't like inspired by the queen on there to be like, oh, I want to start drag. Actually, season 8 was the first season I watched live because I love Naomi Smalls. But
Love.
then, well, I guess no, I must have watched that later because I started All Stars 1, then I took a couple years off because I was like, what is this? And then I think I watched 9 or 10 live, and then I went whatever. Anyways, who
It's
cares?
very in the era of like once Drag Race became part of like Netflix and it was easier to watch.
Yeah,
and
very
all
that, very that. Very like
Oh,
it's
I
there in
forgot
front of me.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Netflix era, very very pivotal.
Which
That
makes
was the
sense why
boost.
you liked. Which makes sense why you liked Naomi because I think season 8 was the first season that was
on Netflix. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I went to school for fashion design, which I feel like no one ever knows about me, but also similarly, I don't like to do it anymore. Hee hee. And
She
then
said school trauma.
no,
Don't
like
we all?
like truly though, like really though. I got like so stressed out, like I feel like my teachers are watching over me when I like make a mistake. And then I get
Girl,
stressed out.
that's literally why I kind of steer clear of doing theater right now because I'm just like every time I'm back in a rehearsal space I'm like, oh, I'm back in like school.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Oh my god.
But then I actually did drag like unofficially, I guess, for the first time on my 21st birthday.
At the drink.
No, 21st birthday.
Was it not that?
No, I threw my own party.
Ooh, she hosted her own party.
Well, it was just like with friends, and I like themed it like Saints and Sinners, and I had a drag queen put me in drag. Her name was Miss Scotto at the time. I don't even think she does drag anymore. And then I looked very, very drag, very drag.
Oh, the brows were not in the right place.
Ooh. And then I performed into Ariana Grande, also very original.
A great song.
Still do it. But then I officially, so that was like the first time I did drag, and then months later, my rugby team wanted to join Empire's Ball, so then we did Empire's Ball as a rugby team, and we kind of did that. So, kind of like in that same year, and then that was when I started to take drag seriously.
Are
What?
you the only member of your team from rugby that stuck in drag?
Yeah.
I don't. To be honest, I don't think any of the other queens really had the intention of like this is gonna be my thing.
And I don't think I did either. I think I just like wanted to have fun. I was graduating university that year. I just did it for fun, and then I honestly just got a gig after. Like after the competition was over. Like honestly, I was annoyed that we kept moving forward in the competition because I just wanted to stop. Like I was like.
You were like,
oh,
I have to shave now. You're like, now I can't just do
and that
bearded
was also
drag. I have
when
to do drag.
Empire's Ball was like, we started in like May and it ended in like August. It was like so long.
It was like
my God.
so long.
No, and
all the things, all the stages were like spread apart.
Yeah, we also all had to do solo numbers and we did group numbers. So it's like we all had to do a solo and a group every round. It was like too much.
Wait, could you do the handstand somersault back then?
No, I didn't. But I did do the thing where I did a handstand on this guy's back, and then he went like this and like flipped me over. And I did it in front of Brooklyn, actually.
Period.
Oh, bring
Brooklyn
that
was
back.
there for my second round. Bring that back. I think I need someone else to help me. I need to be a little bit tinier.
Aurora can do it.
I can do it
Yeah.
to Aurora.
Wait, I'll stand on I'll
Put a pin
stand
in
on
that. We'll do
Aurora's
that.
shoulders, and Aurora and I will form one human being, and then we'll do it.
What?
I'm dead.
That's some
Yeah.
Cirque du Soleil kind of
I
stuff.
have a trench coat. We can make this work.
We can make
Oh
it
my
work. We can make it
God.
happen. And then I in August of that year, then Mojo Toronto booked me for As If Fridays, which was at the Drink, on November 1st, and that was my first ever paid booking in drag. And then I just started going from there, kind of thing.
Work.
Yeah, that was kind of it. And then obviously I had a different drag name at the time, which has now been brought up back in pop culture with the Global All Stars, but
It was Pythia.
it was actually Alyssa Edwards. Thank you so much.
She actually went by Alyssa Edwards.
No, she actually went by oh, I ruined the joke because I forgot the choreographer's name.
Jamal Sims.
Yes.
What?
My drag name was actually RuPaul.
I knew
That's
it.
how I know you.
It was Vanity Vane for those listening and those who know me at the time. And then, triggered.
Van Gogh has gone through many iterations to get to where she is now. It was like it's like an iPhone update. She had an iPhone update and said, "I'm ready for a new iteration of who Van Gogh is, and this is the current most recent update, and I'm here for it."
Well, also when I picked my drag name at first, it was like a joke. It was not like a joke, but it was like a competition. Like it was just like it didn't matter. It had no real. I wasn't picking a drag name. I was just picking a name to go by in this competition. So I was like, well, let me just pick a really easy basic name.
True. I guess there was other than the surface level meaning of your name, there was no other thought behind it. Versus now,
I just needed a name. Yeah.
Versus I feel like Van Gogh now does kind of represent your type of drag and the aesthetic that you give.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, talk about personal growth. Van Gogh, she's all grown up.
A little bit of leather, a little bit of painting, a little bit of caging, the usual stuff.
Not too much, sister.
Oh, that's all we're gonna say. That's all
we're gonna say.
Not too much. But I think
she brings out a whip.
Are all. No, I was in this outfit. What are you kidding? I'm giving
Where's the whip?
The whip? Let me get it. I'm kidding. We all we all have done drag full time in Toronto. I started full time drag after also don't recommend it, honestly. If you have a part time job, keep it.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone wants to be a full time drag queen, but honestly, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's a great segue, honestly, into what is life like working in drag full time? I feel like that's something people always wonder. So what is your life like? What do you do when you're working full time?
People are always like, "Oh my god, wow, so amazing!" And I'm like, "Is it amazing that all my free money and time goes into drag, or is it?"
That's the thing. Exhausting? I'm like, when people go to a drag show, they're seeing a 2.5 hour show, 3 hour show of us. They're seeing that, but they don't know that there's 3 more hours before this that it took to get to the gig, plus all the money and everything that goes into doing drag that you guys don't ever see. So let's get into it.
It's expensive. It's really expensive.
Also, I think it's also very mind consuming. I often sometimes need to tell myself to stop thinking about drag, to stop thinking about new numbers or things, and messaging people and getting things and pulling together mixes and whatever. And then the other thing too is in a drag show, even just a Toronto drag show is a lot less work. It's just you can show up and send your music. But other shows you're getting booked out of town, you have to work out how you're going to get there. You have to work. Then they're asking for your music. They're asking for promo material. There's a lot of other things that go into a gig like that. And I think that's kind of exhausting. So it's you turn this 2 hour pay, but really it's a 2-day kind of job.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of prep that goes into before the gig even starts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when I first started doing drag, I was still a student and I was still going through my whole school system. So I was if I want to do drag full time, I always promised myself that I was gonna finish school and all that too, just so that I had something to fall back on. But yeah, I feel like I was doing drag full time as school was happening, and that was just way too much. I would be going to gigs, or I would finish class at 5 p.m., take 4 hours to get in drag when I first started, go to these gigs, come back at like 3 a.m., get out of drag, and then wake up for an 8:30 class. Like, that was my life for like at least 2.5 years of doing drag.
I did that too a lot when I had a full-time job, and it was like, you just can't dedicate all of your energy to like two things. It's quite difficult.
Well, also, like, the work that you were in, Van, like, you were also like talking with people daily and like working with it was just your social battery must have been
just I mean, also like you
down
at
all
one
the
point
time.
you do want to like invest yourself into like your craft and your thing, but it's like it does come at a cost. Like and sometimes that cost is like your friends or stuff want to do something on a weekend, or like your partner or something, and like you just can't do that. Like,
yeah, or like you literally have just like invested so much of your funds into something else that you're like, my drag has literally caused me to like not have the freedom to go and like spend all this because I'm planning like a look that I want to do, or like I'm working on a shoot that I want to do, or like all these other ideas of things that you have to maintain. Like, you have your physical looks that you need to like have together and your outfits for shows, but you also need content to post online, and a lot of the times you're paying out of pocket for those photo shoots, or even the looks getting made for those and the hair getting made for those. Like, a drag queen post on Instagram is probably costing them at least like $1,000.
Oh yeah. I used to treat photo shoots, I mean, I treat them differently now, but like when I used to do photo shoots, I never wanted to do anything too crazy or out of the box, because I was like, oh, these are going to be promo photos as well. These are going to be what's on posters or what's being posted online. Like, oh, so-and-so is going to be here for this gig. Like, I don't want anything that's too crazy or weird, because I'm like, it still needs to look like me and represent me as a drag queen. So definitely putting a lot of money
for like you're just paying for a fun little picture, like
for a nice photo.
I feel like I've been doing so much of that now, where I'm like, I can't even use these as like promo photos, but I like love the creativity of like the shoot and all that.
Honestly, I mean,
I like that too. I like that chance to do something creative, and like yes, it might not be the most profitable thing for your art, and be like, oh well, I can't wear this outfit at regular gigs, or I can't use these photos for promo, but at the same time you're still sating that creative urge in a way that putting together a performance look doesn't.
Yeah. Well, now it's go ahead.
No, you go.
I feel like because now it's like we find a good balance between our regular lives and our work lives.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working like weekend to weekend, just constant. Like, what do you do outside of drag? Like, I feel like now it's like maybe I can speak for the three of us. Like, now we've found a better balance of that, versus when you first start doing drag, you're kind of like, oh, well, I'm going to say yes to every opportunity. I'm going to say yes to this. And then you realize, oh, I've just spread myself too thin. Like, I can't do anything now because I have no social life at all.
I was going to say too, like similar to what you were saying, like we have a better balance. But I also think now we like are more willing to like invest money into things that are just for us. And like, if like, just like the shoots and the concepts and like the ideas and like just like more what we want, how we want to propel our drag forward, versus like just to like be performable. But then the other thing I was going to say was at the beginning of my drag career, I lost a lot of friends because I like just like was really consumed with like trying to make a drag career happen for myself, and that requires a lot of not only just like showing up to your own gigs, but going to other gigs and like networking and like putting yourself out there. So it's like I often had I literally lost one of my like really close friends, and they eventually were like, I just feel like you're being really selfish because you're just like really invested in your own drag, and like you just can't really see outside of yourself anymore. And like they're totally right. Like, but it's like also like I was not blaming myself because I'm like, well, I'm just trying to make this like work. So it can also be like kind of isolating.
Yeah. Well, it's also you're not like, I'm sure like you didn't have any like ill intention with like kind of prioritizing and focusing your drag, because to you like you're like, well, this is something that I'm passionate about, so I'm gonna give my attention to that. But unfortunately, you do sacrifice like some other aspects of your life. But now we are learning of like, how do we balance that out a little better and give attention to our lives outside of drag, and
I think at one point
find moments where you can step away.
You don't have to be like that, like networky hungry. You still are, but like you have a little bit more of like a name and an opportunity, and people come to you more with like, oh, I like what you do already. You have like a reputation or like a standing.
Exactly.
But at the time when you first start, you don't have any of that. You truly are just like one diva in a mix of like, especially in Toronto, in a mix of like 1,000 who just want an opportunity.
Big time. Well, networking is such a big part of the drag community, at least like in Toronto. Like people know if like, oh, so and so will go to a drag show out of drag just to support the girls. Like when you show they take note of that just because like I remember when I first started and I was like asking around of like, oh, how do I get more gigs? How do I whatever? Like people always said, just go to the shows. Go to shows out of drag, support the other shows that are happening because people will notice that and they'll be like, oh, like they go to the shows regardless. They're coming to support the girls. Let's throw them into the show. Why not? And I feel like that was like one of the things that I learned was like I need to not only focus on my drag but also be aware of what else is going on in the Toronto drag scene just so that I'm up to date and also I can jump on opportunities when I get the chance to.
Yeah, no, definitely. I find that the networking thing is hard.
Like you find it difficult? Well, you don't like to go out anymore.
I know I don't go out at all, but I'm also like such an introvert that I like.
But at the time of you like starting, were you like that? I feel like you would have gone out more.
Oh yeah.
But it's also like I feel like the two reasons why you get booked in a gig, like when you're first starting out, is because you're either like super talented and people just like see that and like love it, or you're just like someone that people want to work with. Like you just are like nice and engaging and people like and you're kiki and you're a good time. Or you're really talented. And like there's just like really no in between. It's either one of the two. Like
I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
I mean, I would say you could be both.
No, you could be both, but I'm saying like you're getting booked for one of those reasons. You're not getting if you're not that talented and you aren't that fun, then you're never getting booked.
Yeah. Oh, and word spreads fast.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like anytime anything happens in Toronto, you will hear it through the grapevine within that week.
I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, right? It's kind of annoying.
It's kind of annoying. I mean, it's good and bad. There are pros and cons to it.
It's the Toronto game of telephone.
Oh, big time.
While also doing marathon
speaking
drag.
Of that thing too, and like how we were saying, like it can become really consuming. I find that too, like when you're constantly going out or constantly like doing drag, like you're like living in a bubble of a world. Like there, and like that's why like the word spread so quickly because like you're in this little tiny bubble and you just like live in it, and it's like it's so exhausting. Oh my god,
big time.
I also don't really go out anymore outside of drag because I'm like I just want to have other parts of my life that like make me feel good. Like besides, but like then going to a drag show, like I feel like Aurora and I went to like Perla's show on a Sunday, like this was like in the summer sometime. And it was a lot of fun, and like it had been a long time since I had just come to a drag show out of drag and just enjoyed myself.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I do catch myself sometimes when I'm at a drag show. I'm like, I really do love drag, and like I love watching drag. But for the longest time, like it just felt like a chore to like, okay, let's go out again and let's go see the show. It's like, okay, I need to find some love in this drag because like I don't want it to feel like a job to me.
Yeah, you want to keep that balance of like a passion and a career.
Exactly.
I also feel like when you're like I think we're all over 5 years into drag. When you kind of hit around this point, I feel you kind of have to like re-fall back in love with it.
Big time.
Like I found that like this last year and a bit, I feel like I had to like fall back in love with doing drag. Like it just became such a job.
With that, yeah. And sometimes you feel like you're kind of like stuck in the same cycle and you just like don't really know where to go past it. And you're like, great, well, like I love these things about it, but like I don't know if like I'm giving the same that I was before. I don't know if I like feel confident in these ways, and you get in your head a lot with stuff like that.
So much.
Oh, this last Pride in June when I was in Lethbridge, Alberta, doing Lethbridge Pride, that was such a wake up moment for me because seeing not just like a pride of queer people, it was like families and like queer bodies, not just gay men everywhere. And seeing that kind of like turned a switch in my brain. I was like, this is why I do drag. Because of like queer bodies in spaces, families accepting each other. Like that's why I'm doing drag. Not for all the gay I mean, love the gay men that come to the shows, but it was such a nice breath of fresh air of like, oh, I do this because like I inspire the next generation. I inspire like children and families to accept each other, and like that was such a like nice moment to just be like, yes, I do drag
I love
because
that.
of this.
I love
this
that.
is like this is why I love drag, and I needed that moment to be like, okay, I can get through Pride. This is why I'm doing all of this crazy shit.
I feel like
I love
had
that.
like a similar thing this summer too, of just like I have obviously, I think like anyone who's like followed me for a while, I've like visually like very switched up my drag from like the last like 6-7 months. But I just like, well, again, like trying to fall back in love with it and just like finding things that I loved on drag and like going, like pushing harder on those things and just like not worrying so much about like the anxieties and the whatever. And like there are so many times I'll come home from a show and just be like, oh, I was awful, like I was shit. And then I'll see a video and I'll be like, actually, like I don't know why I was thinking that, like I was so in my head.
Like, actually, I kind of hate.
Actually, I'm kind of that girl. But I was like, I've gotten a lot of like messages and just like people at shows like just like complimenting me or telling me that they love like the change or the aesthetic, and just I think like noticing the things that I notice, and like it means like a lot. I think when like people see what you're seeing and like just like voice that or like tell you that, stuff like that, and like a real compliment, not like a girl in a bar or like person in a bar just being like, love your wig, is it real? Like
it's very reassuring and like validating to like be like, this is one thing that I was worried about, and then for someone to comment on it and be like, oh, like loved that, be like, okay, like I knew there was something about it, but I just didn't know if I liked it or not. And then other people say it, and you're like, okay, good. You just need that second opinion. I mean, I feel like I do that with you guys. Like, I feel that with you guys too, where it's like, oh, I'm not sure about this, and you're like, it literally looks fine. Like, I'm like, okay, I need to leave it alone.
Yeah. Oh, drag.
Oh, drag.
Oh, drag.
Oh, drag.
Oh, well, why don't we talk a little bit more about actually doing drag in Toronto? We have our lovely buzzword, marathon drag.
Oh.
Should we get into it?
Y'all need to get the fuck over marathon drag. Y'all need to move the fuck on. I cannot. With some of you girls. Honestly,
I love it.
I love it.
I do too. It trained us to be good drag performers.
Okay, I also think people come into the idea of like, well, you're being taken advantage of. Okay, and maybe we are, but girl, and what? Like
we're also willingly doing it. Like
then the other part of it too is like they think that like I think when you're in a city that does like 1 or 2 numbers in a show, there's also an expectation of you to like have a look, have an idea, have a execution, have like a plan. Like that is not the expectation in Toronto. We are not expecting everyone in their 5 numbers to have like a choreo routine and a look that matches each 5 of those numbers. Like it can also be more fun. It can be more experimental. It can be more like I'm going to throw a random song in the middle because I just want to do it. And like I'm going to test it out with the audience. But it also could just be you pandering and you're just doing a top 40 song. But then also like at least your pandering is not wasting your only number of the night. Like,
yeah, I would agree.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I find that when I go to a different city and I have to perform 1 or 2 numbers, I get so nervous and, like, uncomfortable what I'm going to pick. Because I'm like, well, what if they don't like that song, but I like that song? But what if that gets me no money? Then why am I here? But then if I do a top 40 song, then what was the point? And, like, it's just, like, I get so in my head. Whereas, like, if I do a marathon show, I'm like, well, Diva, let's just play this. And let's just find out what happens. Or, like, you ask for a request and they'll be like,
Perla, you get to hear like, oh, we want to hear more of this. Yeah.
But I feel like Hotline Bling last week. Like, who cares? Like,
yeah. Though I will say, my biggest fucking pet peeve is when you're doing a marathon show and someone in the audience is like, "Oh my god, do Britney Spears," or like music that like you as a performer also do not resonate with. And like, yes, I get taking a request.
They'll like say something to me and I'll be like, look at me. Do I look like I'm going to perform that song right now? No.
I feel like a couple of times doing a show with Van, she'll usually be like, but I'm sure so-and-so will do it. And whoever's the next.
I will do that. I will do that.
Yeah, it's like, I won't do some Britney for you, but I'm sure the next 2 queens will probably throw one in there.
Yeah.
Just for you.
Sure.
Just for you.
Brave yet controversial opinion. I do not like performing Britney Spears' music.
Ooh.
Is that because you have to dance to it?
And well, probably, but no. There's just
ding, ding, ding.
The only Britney Spears that I really like is like her first album, and like
honestly,
I would want to do Lucky.
I only do it.
I've done it, and then people are like, "Why did you do that one? You should have done Toxic, or you should have done like Give Me More."
I do like Blackout though. I will perform Blackout.
But
Like-
that's when you throw in a song for yourself, and then you sandwich it with 2 songs that you know the audience will know.
I still hate
Y'all,
it.
marathon drag, it's a formula. It's a formula. Like, if you're doing 5 songs a night, that first song is a warm-up. You talk on the mic after, you get to know them, and also, people are just more inclined to tip you and, like, be reactive to your performance if they feel like they know you better, and they're like, oh, it's not that serious. So when you hop on that mic after that first number, you're getting to know them, you're chatting, you're making your jokes, you're kind of picking on some people.
Oh, the Queen of Comedy, Aurora Matrix.
Well, yes, I'm a host now. And then when you go back and do your second and third number, they're like, okay, we kind of know what this queen is about, and we know what the silliness is all about.
I guess like the biggest thing with marathon drag is just like you have to be really well rounded to be good at marathon drag. And 100%. I think that's a reason why I think you see Toronto Queens and they have a very specific like thing. Like they have like that like je ne sais quoi, if you will. I think it's because we are taught to be very well rounded. We have to be good at slow songs. We have to be good at fast songs. We have to be good at talking. We have to be good at comedy. We have to be good at just like engaging a crowd. I think that like the biggest complaint about marathon drag people will say is that sometimes you can feel like a jukebox. Like you're just like playing music. But a really good Toronto drag queen can command attention. Period.
Yeah, those 25 minutes they're on stage will feel like a concert. Like
I was gonna say, you feel like a pop star.
It should feel effortless. And sometimes those 25 minutes you're sitting there like, oh God, when are they off the stage?
Yeah. So if you're a diva in Toronto and you're doing marathon drag and you feel like a jukebox, then I think what you need to work on is how to command attention. Like, how do you have that presence? Like, work on that, like, that thing. And also, maybe you pander a little bit and you just, like, talk to the audience. You get a little number. And then, like Aurora saying, you sandwich. You throw the number for them, number for you, number for them. And you kind of create a formula with it.
Oh, and I will never forget. I think it was my first ever paid gig. It was with Jada. And I was performing and she was like, oh, I'm just going to hop over to another bar just to say hi to everyone. Can you hold down the fort for, like, 30 minutes? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And this being my first show, I was like, I didn't really know how to talk on the mic. I didn't know how to engage with the audience. So I performed and danced for 30 minutes. And she came back and she's like, you're still dancing? And I was like, well, I don't know how to talk on the mic. Thank God. Now I'm like better on the mic and I can hold like a stage for 30 minutes and not just dance the whole time. But definitely a very vivid memory of just panicking and being like, I guess I'm dancing for 30 minutes.
And the mic work is horrifying when you first start. But when you start to figure out your own shticks and what you can say to the audience to kind of like get them to side with you and like connect with you, it's like, it's a walk in the park with mic work and like connecting with people. It just takes like a minute, but like you need to just like
it's a talent. Like
for
there
sure.
are queens in Toronto like Ivory and Carlotta who like have like insane mic work and like
insane mic work.
If you want to learn how to do mic work better, listen to them. Don't copy them, but like listen to the way and like the things they're saying and how they're trying to engage the audience. A lot of it, honestly, is just ask and answer. Like trying to find things out about your audience and then just like flipping that and like making jokes about it and just being witty and quick on your feet. Like that is really
I feel like Ivory and Carlotta are good examples because like I feel like those are queens that like I could probably watch a whole show of just them talking and I would be entertained the whole time.
100%.
Oh, another one, Allison Chains.
Oh, she's a great host and she riffs quick. She is quick.
I remember a story where she was telling me that someone tipped her while she was talking, and I was like, "That's how you know you're like that girl." Like,
you're that entertaining.
I would agree with that. If someone gives you money because you're talking so well,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
That's crazy.
No one's ever tipped me during my talking. Fuck.
Well,
we all did watch Canada's Drag Race season 4 episode. I don't know what 5, 4,
Snatch
5.
Game.
5.
Which one did you have to talk on?
Well, she did
Snatch Game. I had to tell jokes.
Or when you read from the teleprompter.
Well, I was just edited out of that challenge, but...
Or when you did the QV she.
Hey, I was good in that.
He was good in that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll give you that one.
Did I break character?
Arguably robbed of a top 3 placement.
Yeah. No, my QV she episode, I'm very proud of that because I picked up the ball when it was dropped. And I kept the scene going.
Ooh.
That's all I'll say. Anyway.
That episode should have been a bottom 6. Oh my god. That episode should have been a bottom 6.
Ooh, we'll put a pin in that. We'll do a whole Drag Race season 4 moment episode one day, but
Maybe
more on that later.
in the
Maybe. I feel
future.
like that's when I'll pull out the journal. We'll kind of go through something.
Oh
Ooh.
my god, not the journal.
Yeah, we need to move on a little bit from the future. But I think that kind of wraps up this little topic. So we're gonna move into our puff passes. Maybe we'll theme these
Ooh,
ones
yes.
to be around early
Around
drag career. Yeah, or
Ooh.
like your drag career, Toronto
or
drag.
stuff about working in drag.
Yeah, I love that.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay,
Who
I
wants
can go
to
first.
start? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Just because I feel like I never go first because I never think of these quick enough. But my first puff will be drag sisters. I feel like I have had so many just like really great drag sisters over the years who I've learned so much from and like advanced with, and you kind of like help each other grow and you lift each other up. So drag sisters number one. Obviously also the two of you. Mwah, I'm being nice, congenial.
Aww.
She's
And
Trying
the
our
other
humility
pass,
era.
honestly, is trial by fire, and I think like marathon drag is a trial by fire, and like just throwing yourself into it, and like no, you just throw yourself into it.
Toronto drag is like walking on hot coals.
This made me think of another movie reference that I really want to make, but I'm like really trying to hold it back.
Well, we appreciate that.
Talk about personal growth.
I'm gonna hold it back. I'm gonna hold it back.
We love this episode, and that episode, my pass.
Yeah, what's your pass?
My pass will be bitches talking shit about marathon drag when you could never do it. Period.
That tea. Oh. Okay, I'll go next.
The weather was lovely today.
My first puff would be being booked and blessed, honestly. Like, especially looking back at when I first started drag, like, this is what I wanted to do full time. And I'm so grateful and so thankful. And I'm like, it's giving me like fire to like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So very grateful that I get to do this full time. So looking back on when I first started, wow, never thought I would be here, but here we are.
She's booked and blessed.
Booked and blessed. And
highly flavored? I don't know. What is this?
I've got lots of flavors.
Oh.
My second puff would be being more efficient with doing drag. Like I mentioned earlier, it used to take me like 3-4 hours to like finish my makeup and get in drag. And I feel like now I've learned so many quick like shortcuts and things to kind of cut down on time of getting in drag. And I'm like, wow, that was such a big struggle before, and now it's like breathing air. It's like second nature to me. And I think that's great. My pass would be people who talk down on marathon drag. Honestly, like, I'm sorry that I'm a well-rounded queen that can host a show and that can perform, and I'm tipped at my drag shows. Just like,
y'all are fucking heated over this shit.
no, truly,
Like,
for people
this
who
is
Where
a
I kind of live.
for people who have shit to say about marathon drag, I would love to see you do a full marathon drag show and then come back to me and tell me how you feel.
To quote Venus, whoa!
Whoa!
You said her name.
That's my puff pass of the week.
Wow, okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Perla, what do you have on your mind?
I think my first puff would be, it doesn't really pertain to like drag in a sense, but the obsession that I currently have with that hair that Christina Aguilera wore and how I need to make myself a wig of it.
She said, I understand the assignment. I'm not going to follow it.
Well, that was like one of them. I really
Yes.
just
Well,
wanted to do that.
For sure.
And you are giving Christina Aguilera tease right now.
No,
with this
but
hair.
that one where it's like and then the
Oh, that one is
that
cute.
one.
Okay.
It's on my Twitter. I'll send it to you.
I just want to be on the Ozempic she's on.
That part.
I want to know who her injectionist is.
Oh, she probably has a team.
Or no, I want to know like who
Teen
she
talent.
killed. I want to know who she killed to get like
Whose
or
blood
who did
did
she
she
make a
bathe
deal
in?
with?
Whose blood did she bathe in?
If you are listening and you are the person she made a deal with or the entity
What
she
did she
made a deal
sacrifice?
with, hello, I am
Sound
willing
off.
to do this. I am open and ready
I'm done.
to make a deal. That's my
Okay.
second puff. No, my other puff is going to be honestly people's obsession with Eternal Sunshine and the fact that I can do 3 of those songs in one set.
Are people obsessed with it, or are you holding them hostage?
I'm holding them hostage. Absolutely. I've locked the doors.
Because sometimes I don't know.
You know, acceptance is the first step, so at least she's acknowledging that.
Yes, and you know what?
Okay.
I will still torment people with it. And my pass is going to be when Red Bull is not included in the drink ticket.
Oh, tea.
Oh my! That is a good one. That's a really
That's
good
a really
one.
good one. That's a really good one. Because it's literally
I
cheaper than
don't drink.
alcohol. Yeah, that's wild.
I don't drink. I'm not gonna use my drink ticket for a cocktail. I'm not
So-
gonna. Do you want me to get a soda?
Yes, they do actually.
That's
Here's
like
your Coca-Cola.
25 cents for a glass of Coca-Cola.
Oh,
And-
true. Out of the spouts too. That's nothing to them.
But
Oh, yeah.
literally,
Also, neither is the Red Bull. Just give it to us.
just
Ooh,
give me the
also,
fucking Red Bull.
On that note, and this is unrelated, but when there's not water in the dressing room, that's wild.
Oh, that's part of my rider now.
Well, we've seen. I've seen some of your rider, and I said, "Sister, I've never seen you eat this in my life." And you were like,
Okay, wait. In
"What?
the
It
next
could be
episode, can we go
fun."
through Aurora's rider?
Actually,
And
yeah,
roast it.
okay. Before we end the episode, my rider includes yellow Red Bulls because it's tasty.
Do you get this at
Those are
every show
good
you do?
ones. Those are good ones.
Yeah, all of my out of town shows, I get this on my rider. I have.
What if you don't drink them? Do you keep them?
Oh, I bring them home. I get
Good,
yellow
good,
Red
good.
Bulls. I need 6 bottles of cold bottled water.
Fair.
Honestly, I don't know. I always bring it back because I just like having them.
Fair.
A bag of Ruffles all dressed chips.
Great idea.
Hummus to dip the chips in. That's a
Hummus
little
for the-
excessive,
Yeah, the hummus is a
But
little
it's-
wild.
but it's really good.
No, I support that.
Sometimes they also include a fruit or veggie platter for me. I have 2 cans of Coca-Cola, 2 cans of Canada Dry, and 2 cans of Sprite.
When are you downing all of these beverages?
I'm
I
also
bring
so sorry.
them home.
I do not
But-
see. I don't see you eat at shows ever.
Yeah, I bring them home.
Oh my god.
It's always when I'm intoxicated at the end of the gig, I get to my hotel room and I'm sitting there scooping that hummus with the chips,
Okay,
eating
one
my
time-
veggie dip.
I booked Roxy Andrews for a show I did last Pride.
Oh yes.
And her
yes.
rider was like very, 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 very long. And then I was just like the night before, like, hey, we're gonna grab you all this stuff. And she went, "Oh, girl, all I need is a pack of cigarettes and a Red Bull." And that would be
That
Pearl's
would
rider.
literally be my rider.
And
That
you know
would be
what?
my rider.
I will take that advice and I will go through my rider and revise it. We'll edit
Okay.
down.
I would
We'll
literally
edit.
make mine a pack of Belmont King Large, a 25 pack, and
25.
25 pack. That's how many are in the pack.
Okay, never mind, girl. This is
We're
crazy
not-
too.
Van and I
And-
are not cigarette smokers.
I would get 2 Red Bulls, and bam,
Okay, my rider would be
and maybe a pack of High Chews.
Yum.
My rider would be a bag of chips, ginger ale, Red Bull, and water.
Done. I love that. So if you want to work in full-time drag, make sure you know what you want on your rider. And make sure it's not too...
Because one day when you maybe are possibly on a TV show and they're booking you out of town, they'll actually care enough to ask.
They will
And,
actually
like-
give you what you want.
Don't make your rider half of a 7-Eleven. Like Aurora's buying them out.
I
She's
mean,
like-
she's still getting booked, so
I'm still
You know
getting
what,
booked,
true.
and I have an afternoon snack after.
Can you start
Oh.
bringing the Coca-Colas back for me?
100%, I got you, girl.
Thank
she'll
you.
fly them
thank
from all
you.
over this country because you do
You know
not
what?
live
I-
above a
I-
convenience store.
I'll be like, Perla, this is a Coca-Cola from Vancouver.
And I'll be like, oh my god, these Coca-Colas are so well traveled.
You're like, I can
I
taste the
cannot.
West Coast from here.
Oh my,
You'll
it's cane
you'll
sugar.
probably open it and it'll just go like explode everywhere. Like,
I'll be
On
like that housewife who brought the carry-on suitcase of just Diet Coca-Cola to the UK.
That can be you. You could typecast yourself that way. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, that's the end of episode 4, y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.